Welcome to the Board Business Channel. You're ready to dive into another incredible company?
Always. Especially when it comes to companies like the one we're talking about today.
Right. Today's a good one. So first off, gotta give a shout out to Steve over at the Arizona, Taiwan office.
Oh, yeah. Steve's been amazing.
Seriously, he's been introducing us to all these fantastic Taiwanese companies.
Yeah.
He's really on a mission to get these businesses on the map here in the U.S.
And doing a fantastic job, I might add.
For sure. But okay, enough about Steve. Let's talk about the company, right? Today we're talking about Fair Friend Group, FFG for short.
FFG, huh? Kind of makes you think they're all about, like, puppies and rainbows, you know?
Haha.
Yeah.
Friendly vibes. But I have a feeling there's more to it.
Oh, way more. These guys are heavy hitters in the machine tool world.
Machine tools? Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Giant drills.
Uh-huh. Basically. But it's way more complex than that. Think of it like this. Machine tools are like the building blocks of, well, almost everything.
Really?
Everything. Pretty much. Cars, airplanes, smartphones, even those fancy espresso machines everyone loves. They all rely on machine tools somewhere along the line.
So FFG is making the machines that make the parts that make the things. That's wild.
Exactly. And they're one of the best in the world at it. I mean, we're talking Boeing, NASA, even nuclear power plants using their machines.
Whoa, hold up. A Taiwanese company is supplying tech to NASA. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. So how do they get so big?
Well, it all starts with their founder, Jimmy. And let me tell you, Jimmy's story is one for the books.
Oh, lay it on me.
Picture this. He starts his career scrubbing toilets on a ship.
Toilet scrubbing, no way.
Yeah. Talk about humble beginnings, right?
Yeah.
But that just shows you the kind of work ethic this guy has.
He must be incredibly driven.
Oh, absolutely. That drive took him from, well, scrubbing toilets to building FFG from the ground up.
And get this, they started as the smallest machine tool factory in all of Taiwan.
The smallest. Wow. And now they're this global giant? How did that happen? Well, Jimmy had this vision, right? We saw that the future of machine tools was all about computers making them super precise and efficient.
Makes sense. Everything's going digital these days.
Exactly. So he took a huge gamble and basically shifted the entire company's focus to these new computer-controlled machine tools. They're called CNC machines, short for Computer Numerical Control.
CNC machines, got it. So he bet big on the future, and it paid off.
Big time. FFG started making these CNC machines way before anyone else, and that gave them a huge edge. But there's more to the story than just being early adopters. See, Jimmy wasn't content with just building a successful company. He wanted to build something special.
Okay, I'm hooked. What was this special something?
It's all about their fair friend philosophy. And it's not just some marketing gimmick, it's how they do business. Treat everyone right, that was Jimmy's motto. Employees, customers, suppliers, even competitors.
Really? Even competitors?
Yep. Jimmy believed in fair competition, playing by the rules.
Wow, that's pretty radical, especially in the cutthroat world of business. Did it actually work?
Let's just say their success speaks for itself. And a big part of that success comes from their crazy growth through acquisitions. They've acquired over 40 companies.
Whoa, 40 companies. Think about all the different cultures, ways of doing things. That seems like a recipe for disaster. How do they manage to integrate all those businesses without things falling apart?
That's where the fair friend approach really comes into play.
Okay, I'm ready for the magic formula. Spill it.
It's not magic, but it is pretty powerful. See, when you treat people right, they trust you. They buy into your vision.
Ah, I see. So it wasn't just about buying companies. It was about building relationships.
Exactly. They weren't just absorbing companies. They were respecting their legacies, their expertise, their people, creating a sense of partnership, a feeling that everyone was in it together, winning together, and that made all the difference.
So they built trust. But how did they convince all these established companies to be acquired in the first place? I mean, these weren't just startups.
Good point. They had to prove themselves. And that's where Jimmy's leadership style really shone. He was a straight shooter, a man of his word. When he said, fair friend, he meant it. And people believed him. They saw that he wasn't just out to make a quick buck. He was building something for the long haul, something that everyone could benefit from.
So it was about integrity, walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And that authenticity, that genuineness, it went a long way. People could see that FFG wasn't just another corporation. It was a company with a heart. A company that cared.
Yep.
Exactly. It was about building something sustainable, something that would benefit everyone involved. And that's really the heart of their success story.
I love that. It's like they took the idea of fair trade and applied it to the entire business world.
Haha, that's a great way to put it. But it wasn't always easy. They faced plenty of challenges along the way, especially as they grew so quickly.
Oh, I bet. Managing 40 different companies under one roof. That sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. It was definitely a challenge. One of the biggest hurdles was maintaining a consistent company culture across all those different businesses. I mean, you've got companies from all over the world, each with its own history, its own way of doing things.
Yeah, how do you even begin to blend all those different cultures together without things clashing?
Well, communication was key. They made a real effort to communicate their values and expectations to every single employee, no matter where they came from or what company they were originally part of.
So it was about getting everyone on the same page, making sure they understood the FFG way.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about talking the talk. They also implemented training programs, leadership development initiatives, all sorts of things to reinforce that fair friend culture.
So they invested in their people, gave them the tools and resources they needed to succeed. Smart move. But let's dive into the tech side of things for a bit. I mean, we've talked about CNC machines, but what exactly makes FFG's machines so special? Are they really that different from what other companies are making?
Oh, absolutely. For one thing, their range is incredible. They build everything from tiny, super specialized machines for making intricate little components to these massive machines that can handle huge pieces of metal.
Plus, whether you're a small business or a giant corporation, they've got you covered.
Exactly. But it's not just about size and variety. Their technology is also top-notch. They've invested heavily in developing their own software and control systems, which gives them a real edge in terms of precision and automation.
So it's not just about the hardware, it's about the brains behind it too. The software and the people who know how to use it.
You got it. And that's another area where FFG really excels. They've got this incredible team of engineers and technicians who are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with machine tools. They're not just building machines, they're innovating, they're coming up with new solutions to complex problems.
That's so cool. It's like they're a bunch of mad scientists, but in a good way. Always tinkering, always trying to improve things. So they've got the great leader, the strong philosophy, the wide range of machines, cutting-edge tech, a team of experts. It sounds like a recipe for success.
It definitely is. But it wasn't all smooth sailing, They faced their fair share of challenges along the way.
Well, I'm sure they did. Every company does.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest hurdles they had to overcome?
Well, one of the biggest was managing that rapid growth. I mean, when you're acquiring dozens of companies, it can be really tough to keep everything running smoothly.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like trying to juggle 100 balls at once.
Exactly. And on top of that, they had to make sure that all those new companies were integrated properly, that everyone was on the same page, that their values, their way of doing business was adopted across the board.
That's a huge undertaking. How did they manage to pull it off?
Well, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. They had to be really intentional about building relationships, creating a sense of trust and shared purpose. It wasn't easy, but they made it happen.
That's amazing. It's a testament to their leadership, their vision, and their commitment to their fair friend philosophy. So they've conquered rapid growth, they've integrated a bunch of different companies, they've maintained a strong culture. It's an incredible story. But I'm curious, what's next for FFG? What does the future hold for this machine tool giant?
Well, one thing that's really exciting is their expansion into new industries. They're not just focused on machine tools anymore. They're branching out into areas like green energy and automation, which are huge growth sectors.
Wait, really? That's so cool. What are they doing in those areas?
For instance, they're manufacturing components for solar panels and wind turbines, helping to build a more sustainable future. They're also developing advanced automation systems for factories, making them more efficient and productive.
Wow, that's impressive. So they're not just building machines, they're shaping the future of industries. That's pretty amazing. But I have to ask, why would they move into such different areas? Seems like a pretty big risk.
Well, for one thing, it helps them diversify their business, not putting all their eggs in one basket. But more importantly, it allows them to leverage their expertise in precision engineering and manufacturing to make a positive impact in new areas.
So they're taking their skills and their values and applying them to new challenges. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring. They're not just chasing profits. They're trying to make a difference in the world.
It's like they're proving that you can be successful and do good at the same time.
Exactly. And I think that's a really powerful message, especially in today's world.
Okay, so FFG is expanding into new industries. They're pushing the boundaries of technology. What else is on the horizon for them? What challenges do they need to be prepared for?
Well, One thing that's always a challenge in the manufacturing world is staying ahead of the curve when it comes to technology. Things are constantly changing, evolving at a rapid pace. So they need to keep investing in research and development, make sure they're always on the cutting edge.
Right, because if they fall behind, someone else will step in and take their place.
Exactly. And another big challenge is going to be talent acquisition and retention. The competition for skilled workers in these high-tech fields is fierce.
Yeah, everyone's looking for the best and the brightest.
So FFG needs to make sure they're creating a work environment that attracts and retains top talent. That means offering competitive salaries and benefits, but it also means fostering a culture of learning, growth, and innovation.
It's like they need to create a workplace where people are excited to come to work every day, where they feel challenged and valued.
Precisely. And, one thing that I think FFG does really well is that they're constantly looking for ways to give back to the community. They've established scholarships, they partner with universities, and they're really involved in promoting STEM education, especially for young people.
That's fantastic. They're not just building a business, they're investing in the future.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important part of their story. It shows that they're not just focused on profits, they're committed to making a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see a company that's so successful and yet so grounded in their values. It's a rare combination.
It really is. So we've talked a lot about FFG's Fair Friend philosophy, but let's bring it back to their actual products for a minute. What are some of the coolest things they're making?
Oh man, where do I even begin? They've got machines that can make parts for airplanes, cars, smartphones, medical devices, you name it.
I mean, we talked about NASA earlier. Are they still making stuff for the space program? Absolutely. They're a major supplier of high-precision machine tools to the aerospace industry. They're actually working on some pretty cutting-edge stuff for future space missions, but I can't really go into details. It's top secret.
Uh-huh. Fair enough. I wouldn't want to compromise national security or anything. But, what I find really fascinating is that they're not just focused on building these incredible machines. They're also thinking about the bigger picture, about how their technology can be used to solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
Absolutely. They're really committed to sustainability. They're investing heavily in green energy. They're developing more efficient manufacturing processes. They're even working on ways to reduce waste and emissions.
So they're not just building a better business, they're building a better world.
Exactly. And that's something that really resonates with me. It's not just about profits anymore. It's about purpose. It's about using your skills and resources to make a positive impact.
Well said. So as we wrap up our look at Fair Friend Group, I want to ask you one final question. If you could sum up their success in just a few words, what would they be?
That's a tough one. But I think I'd have to say innovation, integrity, and impact.
I love that. Those three words perfectly capture what makes FFG such a special company. They're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They're doing it the right way, and they're making a real difference in the world. It's an inspiring story, and I'm so glad we had the chance to share it with our listeners.
Me too. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us on the Board's Business Channel. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Fair Friend Group. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. See you next time.